What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Yesterday, Jeff Kaplan made a rather large post regarding the hero ban system, what they originally intended, some possible issues that they're running into, and just explaining some more about the system and possibilities. Also, we got an update on the new crowd control changes that will be happening. Real quick, want to let you guys know I have a brand new video over on my second channel. This time, it's for a TV show that's actually really good, and I would strongly recommend you guys checking it out. You can find that video on my second channel. The link for that is in the description. This all comes about from people asking about why certain characters are being banned and why characters like Mei aren't able to be banned multiple weeks in a row. Jeff Kaplan responds by saying, "When we moved to a combined hero pool system, we did so based on feedback from Overwatch League players and coaches in our monthly Discord chat. They vocalized that the number one issue they were facing was the inability to effectively practice in competitive play because the pools differed. On the development team, we also wanted to move away from human-curated pools to something that was driven by statistics. We felt like this would provide more transparency into why picks were being made each week and, frankly, remove some of the negative emotion we saw when the picks would be announced. We evaluated the league stats to determine the pools, but there were some issues that put us in the direction we ultimately went. Because of logistics with how the league broadcast works, the league schedule itself, the desire to have picks read after the final game of the weekend, and the amount of time between when the final match of the weekend happens and when the teams have requested to be able to start practicing, we made the decision to base the picks off of a more stable environment, a segment of our high-end players from the live game. If you remember our original design, we had two separate pools, one derived for the league and one derived for the player base at large. The value that was expressed to us directly from the players who participated in our Dev Pro player chat was that the pools be synced over anything else. That was the top thing we as a development team could do to make the game better for the league pros. So we made the decision to unify the pools, and we chose to have those pools derived by the player base because that would be the most impactful decision for the largest segment of Overwatch players. There are also a lot of logistical reasons. In the short amount of time we had to implement a change, a system that was evergreen rather than one that would have to be re-implemented anytime the league goes on hiatus. Think about the times we live in. Made the most sense to us from a pragmatic standpoint. Largely, the system is working. Impactful heroes to both the base game and the league are getting rotated. For example, Moira and Orisa this week. The absence of both will have an impact on the league and the live game. There are some moments that feel off to players. Echo being banned was a possibility we were well aware of. We knew this would upset players because she was new, but we felt like sticking with the integrity of the system was important. We knew that Overwatch League viewers would be upset because Echo wasn't being played. And just because the system doesn't routinely ban Mei each week doesn't really bother us, because that's not what it was meant to do. Mei's been rotated out already, and in terms of balance, characters like Mei are getting a lot of attention. Basically nerfs. In addition to her recent nerfs, more are coming on Wednesday. This is going to be with the experimental mode with the CC changes. Her win rate is already down. Remember, the league is traditionally slower at picking up balance trends because of their intense schedule, their scrimming behavior, and delayed patching. Hero pools isn't a solve to balance issues, and hero pool is not intended to solve the problems of fun heroes versus bad heroes. Those terms are so subjective that they really don't help the conversation. We could easily go back to the system where Overwatch League pools are determined separately from the rest of the game, but that's not what we're told that they wanted in the league, basically. All of the pros were invited to chat with us, and the pros that showed up were unambiguous in their feedback, requesting that the pools be synced. For better or for worse, there are good lessons in game design here. Game design is about trade-offs, not silver bullet solutions, and maybe for once, we can be open that the league meta is very different from the meta we see on the ladder. I know it didn't come here with a magic answer. We're talking about possible solutions still, but I wanted to shed light on how the situation evolved. Alright, so that was quite a bit. We got the little bonus info that the crowd control changes for the experimental mode will be arriving on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. Pretty cool. And I'll make a video about that as soon as it comes out on the live servers. Also, there's a lot of stuff about the hero ban system, and I knew that this was going to come up. This always happens when there's any kind of a hero ban, whether it's controlled by the devs or an automated system or by the players. What happens, and I saw this as soon as it was announced, I saw a bunch of people saying that they would ban Bastion in the hero pool system. If it was player controlled, they would always ban Bastion. And that makes absolutely no sense. There was a time, at least 1 or 2 weeks, where Bastion literally had a 0% pick rate. He was not being used almost at all, right? And even after that, his pick rate is always incredibly low. So banning characters like that don't make any sense. It's the same thing with people who say that they want to ban Symmetra or they want to ban Torbjorn. It doesn't make any sense because those characters are not being used. And what ends up happening is you have people that want to ban certain characters, not because it's the optimal choice, but because they personally have trouble dealing with those characters. And while that does make a little bit of sense, it doesn't really make any sense when the character already has an unbelievably low pick rate, like some of the ones I mentioned. Now, as far as Mei goes, her pick rate has plummeted. It has crashed all the way to the bottom. Mei is now one of the least played characters across all of the ranks. From Bronze to GM, she is barely above the characters that are already banned out for the week. So the characters that you are simply not allowed to use, Mei's pick rate is barely above that 0. That's how little the character is being used. On top of that, the pick rate has been going, the win rate has also been going down. So the nerfs that they've made to Mei have made her significantly less useful than she was before, because she wasn't really a DPS that was meant to, eliminate enemies. She was a DPS that had utility. And since that utility has been nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, and it's getting nerfed again, it just makes her less and less useful. So there are some issues with this. I think that Mei should be moved into the tank category and rebalanced that way. It would probably clear up a lot of problems. But besides that, it seems like they're going to kind of keep the system that they are right now. And it's not that the rest of the game is being based on the Overwatch League. It's that the Overwatch League is being based on the rest of the player base. I know it seems kind of weird because they announce it during the Overwatch League live stream. So it kind of feels like it's coming from the league, but it's not. They're just announcing it there. The pick rates and what gets banned is chosen by what people are using on the normal competitive ladder, and then the league has to go along with it. So there you go, guys. We can look forward to the new experimental mode tomorrow. Also, now that you're done watching this video, why don't you head over to my second channel? You can find out some really cool information about a brand new TV series that is actually really good and worth watching. Go and check it out. Links in the description. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to get notified. You can get some cool gear, join my Discord server, or follow me on social media with the links down in the description below. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters, and remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.